Welcome back. I'm Richard Hosnow, and I'm your host of the Wisdom Inspired Life podcast and this Wisdom Inspired Life YouTube channel. Thank you for coming back. Well, this is another in my Caring and Compassionate series. I've come at this from a number of different dimensions, and sharing with you a few quotes is what this particular episode is about, along with the one that preceded it. And what I like about these quotes is that they bring dimensions to the subject of caring and compassion and kindness that may not be immediately obvious, and yet often can be quite profound. So, these are demonstrating ways to demonstrate significant levels of caring and compassion. And remember, the importance of the mission that I'm on is trying to inspire all of us to be more caring and compassionate, in the hope that that will help us better meet some of the challenges and needs that we have in our home, planet Earth. And so I'm coming at this from a number of different dimensions. So with that said, let's get into the first quote. First one comes from Martin Luther King, famous for "I have a dream," but there's great importance here. He said, "We may all have come on different ships, but we're all in the same boat now." I look at this, and as you may have seen or heard me talk about in some previous episodes, I underscore the fact that all of us, have one home, a common home. It's planet Earth. And if we can just see ourselves as all being part of the same family, the human family, on planet Earth, our home, that insight alone will open up connections for caring, kindness, and compassion to our fellow travelers on our boat on this planet, which is our home. So I encourage you to have a dream about how we can all get along. Get along as cohabitants on this boat we call planet Earth. And when we do that, when we come to life from that perspective, it definitely will open up additional powerful opportunities for caring, compassion, and kindness. So thank you, Martin Luther King. Mother Teresa. I guess she's on a path to being a saint in the Catholic Church. Certainly has made, during her time on Earth, a very positive contribution to all of this. Her quote I just found very appropriate, because it is really what may stand in the way for many of us of being more caring and more compassionate. Her advice: never be so busy as to not think of others. Put another way, slow down. Be present. Maybe you had the opportunity to listen to a previous story on caring and compassion about Jimmy, who had recently been told by his doctor that he had pancreatic cancer, where the average lifespan after you learn that is about 3 years. And Jimmy walked out of his doctor's office into the parking lot to get into his car when he noticed an elderly gentleman with a car problem. Jimmy was present in a way that is powerful. He could have been consumed with what he may have interpreted as being a death sentence to occur sometime in about the next 3 years, and not have seen or heard or anything while he was walking back to his car. And yet he was present enough that he saw another person in distress, an elderly gentleman whose car wouldn't start. And Jimmy crawled underneath that car to help him, and was helpful. The car started and the old gentleman drove away. That's a great example of never be so busy, so consumed in your own thoughts, to not think of others. Slow down, be present. Think and be aware of others. Be an observer. Be curious. Be an observer and be curious about what you're seeing. And ask yourself, how can I commit an unexpected act of kindness, caring, and compassion? How can I establish the intent? You can pretty much only do that if you slow down and be present and don't be so busy that you don't think of others. Okay? Thank you, Mother Teresa, for that insight. Here's another perspective on caring and compassion. And that is not captured in anything else that I've had in here, and that's why it's here. Meryl Streep won more Academy Awards for Best Actress than anybody in history, as best I recall. I'm not a great student of it, but Meryl has done some great work in a wide variety of roles. Very gifted person. And speaking of that, she said, "The great gift of human beings is that we have the power of empathy. We all have it. We can all sense a mysterious connection to each other. When we are empathetic with another person, we establish a connection. Empathy is about putting yourself in the shoes of the other person and feeling their context, their experience. You're connecting with them. And you feel a connection. And when you're empathetic to another person, they feel a connection to you. Going back to what I talked about on the Martin Luther King, if we were more empathetic and caring for each other and establishing more connections, understanding we're all in this same boat, we're all on this planet Earth together, okay, creates more positive connections with each other. And indeed, metaphysically, people experience empathy from one person, receive it as a gift, often an all too rare gift. Okay? Remember, when we're empathetic with another person, it creates a connection, a positive connection with that person, a special connection, because not everyone takes time to understand the perspective that another person is going through, the pain they're going through, and wants to help. That is a strong interhuman connection. Okay? And empathy does that. Thank you, Meryl Streep. One of my heroes, the Dalai Lama. A very special being, probably in the public awareness, the most advanced spiritual being on the planet today in the public awareness. There are some other extraordinarily wise and evolved beings on planet Earth that are not in the public, as we may think about it, are not known. Their presence is not known by the population in general, but is known by people who are ready to know that kind of energy. The Dalai Lama, in my experience, and the Rinpoches, I've talked about Sogyal Rinpoche, I've never had the opportunity to be in the presence of the Dalai Lama, but when I see him talk, I just, his energy, his wisdom, he is a man who lives a wisdom-inspired life. So anyway, enough of that. He's the author of many books, including The Art of Happiness. Just look at this profound quote, okay? If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. Compassion is working to relieve the suffering of others. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you're successful in relieving the suffering of others, you will help make them happier. It is that simple and that profound. Continuing, if you want to be happy, practice compassion. I've shared this story, I think, in an earlier episode, but when I started waking up to the opportunities for kindness and caring and compassion and helping others, wow, did I experience the truth of that. If you want to be happier, practice more compassion, connecting with people. Compassion is the ultimate win-win outcome. The person you're being compassionate towards and trying to relieve their suffering becomes happier. You become happier because you've helped another human being lift their burden, if only for a moment or for the rest of their life. Just experience what that is, and when you do, I think you'll find it becomes addictive in the most positive of ways. Okay? If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. The ultimate win-win. Okay. Well, hopefully these quotes have opened you up to some new dimensions of caring, compassion, and kindness, and opportunities for that. So, with that said, besides the Wisdom Inspired YouTube channel, there's the Wisdom Inspired Life podcast. I've talked about this a bit. Over 350 episodes. Most of them are 10 to 15 minutes long. Interviews are a little bit longer. Wide range of quotes, including from the Dalai Lama, of course. New episodes are published every Saturday and Sunday, and I'm on a long series right now of on those new episodes. Paramahansa Yogananda's incredibly wise perspective and understanding of the Christian Bible. That podcast is published on Saturday, and on the Bhagavad Gita, which I find to be one of the greatest wisdom texts and documents ever. So a lot to be there, and you can listen to this podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, on and on, wherever you listen to it. You can also go to the My Wisdom Inspired Life website. There we have a great player to listen to the Wisdom Inspired Life podcast. It's one of the better players that I've seen out there. By players, I mean where you can see all the podcasts and what they're about and listen to them, and other things that you can gather from this site. Well, as I've shared with you before, I'm on a mission, and that mission involves a journey, and I'm on that journey. And I look forward to continuing that journey with you.